Welcome to Fireside Forge. I'm your host, Citrin, the Armored Sloth, and this is Tangle and Yonder here with me today. Today's topic is stress management, motivation/focus, and deadlines.
Cry is an art major.
Yeah, funny thing about stress management, motivation/focus, and deadlines is that I lack any form of stress management. I have no motivation or focus, and I do not do anything until the deadline is like the day before. That's my strategy.
Okay, so anyone listening, don't do that.
Hey, you look, if you can get away with it, do it. I have it down to a science, but
bro, I hate
I'm
you.
just saying, it's not even like I always do everything the day before it's due, but it's not because I don't even get the motivation. It's just like the fear of the consequences for not doing it catch up to me in that moment.
Oh no.
Up until that point, I don't
fear
care.
Of failure.
Basically.
Gosh. This is such an interesting topic because this is my last semester. At least at the time of this recording, I'm graduating in May, so it's you gotta do a bunch of crunch in order to get the thesis project done by freaking, I don't know, it's April or something. And just stress management is something I've always been really bad at because my go-to is just, hold on, I'm spacing out. Oh my word. It's just okay, work until the problem is addressed. But if you can't get the problem solved in that moment, it's just, what do I do? What do I do? And it's just okay, time to panic. Especially when I do with my rigging class, or the rigging class I took last year or so. If I started to run into an issue, I would basically just pound my head against the wall until it got fixed. Just emailing the professor help. Yeah, I'm the kind of person where if there's an unsolved or unfinished problem, it bugs me constantly. I can't go to bed. I can't stop until that one specific issue is solved. And that more so becomes more apparent when I'm doing my 3D modeling stuff.
Oh, same.
Because modeling, unlike drawing, what's the word? It's much more problem solving, as opposed to okay, I'm gonna draw, or okay, I'm gonna do this or that. I might have I'll do this many silhouettes or little sketches or whatever before I take a break. With 3D modeling, it's okay, I want to get this one particular problem that's bugging me, has to get finished before I go to bed, and then it's 3 a.m. and I'm shoot, okay.
I'm not quite the exact opposite, but if I'm working on a model and I run into something that I cannot figure out, that is the end of that model. You have no idea how many here's a base mesh with no eyes laying around on my laptop. I know. What was the ones that I did for you for Thornforge? No tail and no claws.
Yeah.
Ever since that, I'm hold on, maybe I can solve problems. But before that, it was okay, that's it, I'm done.
That's why I wanted to push you to actually finish those models, because I knew that the joy of creation and problem solving would overtake you as soon as you actually finish something.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a freaking slow modeler. But this just kind of comes to show the importance of having these different iterative saves, because sometimes I'm okay, I want to try using this with the model, but if that ruins the topology, I'm gonna lose hours of work. So my go-to method, you'll start to see in my outline or whatever in Maya, you'll see several different duplications of the same model, where I've started to tweak away at stuff, and then having different iterative saves and all that junk. And once I get to a spot where I feel safe, and it's okay, I've solved this problem, the topology is solid here, then I'll start to clean things up, and I'll start to do all that garbage. But yeah, it's just something you really get used to. But I think what it is that, at least for me, what really helped me, how do I explain this? I think the reason why I kind of was able to lean towards 3D modeling is, to me, it's basically math without the math part that I hate,
TBH.
essentially. Because I've always been told, yeah, hey, Yonder, you're pretty good at math. And I go, I hate math. Don't ask me to ever do it in my life ever. But it turns out that, with 3D modeling, it's that blend between, the arts, where I'm sculpting and painting and all that, and then something that's a little more, I don't know if it's entirely mathematical per se, but it's definitely a lot more computery and specific. Because if there's something that's wrong with the model, 9 times out of 10 you can designate what the specific issue is, as opposed to art where it's just okay, time to experiment with this design instead or that design instead, and just practice your rendering until it gets better, or practice this until it gets better. With modeling, it's like, okay, this is wrong because this specific face is in this specific spot. You gotta do this one specific thing, and I think there's a part of the brain that I keep forgetting exists that is actually really happy to problem solve all of that, which is why I can put up with doing hours of modeling work because it engages me. The only downside is I can only do it for maybe like 3 or 4 hours before I'm like mentally exhausted.
I've
Yeah.
had the exact opposite experience with modeling. Like, every time something is wrong, I cannot figure out what it is.
It's like
And I'm
you-
You're just stupid.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair.
It's like, Tangle, you'll be doing work, like artwork, and I'll come over to you and you'd be like, I flipped the canvas and it still looks wrong. And I'm like, okay, cool. But it's like, if I'm working on a model and it is wrong, it's like, oh, the normals are backwards or something. You just flip it and then it's fine.
Yeah, I can't figure out stuff like that for some reason. It's easier for me to just see something and be like, okay, I am not vibing with it. Let's fix it until I vibe. Instead of like, oh, I have to check all the faces and this one flipped inside of this one, and then you gotta flood the normals. And I'm like, I don't understand. I just do not understand it.
Right brain mains rise up.
Yeah, I do not understand it. Okay, I will say though, like the one useful 3D skill that I learned in college was that increment saving is so freaking important. Like, oh my gosh.
We do be increment saving though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gosh, the amount of space on my computer taken up by all that garbage. I have to like every single semester, like the end of every semester, I have to clean house because there's so many incremental saves that I gotta go and delete. And even then I get paranoid. I'm like, wait, what if I want this one file for this one specific thing?
Yeah.
But yeah, you just part of it is just it took me maybe I think once I was using Maya for maybe like a year or two, I began to really understand like, okay, like this one specific thing always makes the program crash, or this one specific thing makes this happen, or whatever.
Using Maya makes Maya crash.
Yes.
I have gradually learned how to not piss Maya off.
I think I had a
And then,
comic on my Tumblr a while ago about like me trying to like romance Maya into not crashing. I need to see if that's still a thing because it was really funny.
If I give Maya a candle at dinner, it will maybe not corrupt it.
Yeah, most of them just the punchline was just Maya like punching me in the face, but
yeah, and then like once I graduate, I'm not gonna have access to Maya anymore because Lord knows I cannot afford their freaking whatever subscription that is.
Blender
So
mains rise up.
was crazy.
I'm gonna have to learn. I'm gonna have to like romance Blender.
Blender mains.
Yeah, I like Blender.
Yeah.
I originally like it because it's free.
Oh yeah, for sure. The nice thing is that I can still use Substance Painter because for whatever reason you can get the permanent license off Steam for whatever reason, as opposed to one of those like roadie subscription based stuff. So I will still have Substance Painter. I have to sit down and buy a license.
So now, like once you learn Blender, I can exploit that. Thank you.
Huh?
I could exploit your knowledge, you and Citron's knowledge of Blender for my own purposes.
Why don't you learn Blender instead of leeching information off of us?
Because I'm not a 3D main.
I mean, you can dual class. I don't understand why you can't do that.
Well, I mean, one, because I don't want to, but
Great.
Well, even then, like as a Viz dev artist, you can use like stuff like SketchUp and junk to do like mock-ups for drawings and stuff.
Yeah, especially like you want to like have buildings and stuff like geometric objects. We got you.
I mean, I can do that. I can do a cube. You want a cube?
Yeah, just slap a few cubes in, and there you go. There's a city. Goodness. Just take a screenshot of that and just start painting on top of it.
You want a sphere? I can do a sphere.
Or you can just stick to drawing like nature scenes.
You can do that.
That's what we do here.
I might do that.
that monkey's head that Blender has as a default shape. You can just do that.
Yeah, that's a picture of me trying to use Blender, honestly.
Nice.
Nice.
Return to
Okay.
monkey.
As far as
Okay.
like stress management, I think something that's really helped me is dividing my work into pieces so that I don't do everything or try to do everything all at once, you know? Because I think that's how you really can like kill your motivation is to like burn out by trying to do everything at once.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah. So like if I'm doing an art piece or something, I'll do like the sketch maybe one day and then the line art one day and then do like the fill so I can do the flat color one day and then like finish the shading or the background a different day. But even though it can be kind of frustrating to do things that way because my brain just wants to like finish everything like now, it in the long run it helps me like maintain focus and actually get things done instead of feeling overwhelmed, you know?
No, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It
I
can be
know
harder
that.
to do when you're in school, I guess, but
Yeah. I'll say recently for me, what I've been doing because I actually have a really, especially with like the whole online class situation, it's a lot harder for me to like focus on doing stuff because like instead of like being in a classroom situation where like I'll get judged if I'm on like social media the whole time, like no one's judging me if I'm on Discord like for half of the day. So what I've been doing lately is I've been what's the word? I've been using Google Calendar lately to kind of gauge out like the amount of time that I actually have in my day and assign like tasks to myself depending on those specific times of the day. And so far, it's been helping me quite a bit. I'm thinking that like if I do it for long enough, that I can just start to do that just second nature as opposed to having to like schedule things out specifically. But
yeah.
it's
I
at
think
least like
yeah.
yeah, have to
I was just
figure
gonna
that
say,
out.
one of my teachers sophomore year, like his recommendation for all of us was just to map out all of our assignments on a calendar. Or no, it was spreadsheets first and then put all the dates on a calendar. And I should have kept doing that because it was really useful, but I just kind of stopped. But it's a good strategy to like actually get work done.
Hmm.
So online classes ruined my life, check. I don't like
Yeah,
them.
my last two classes were online classes and they were freaking terrible. Like I slept through my one of them was a history class, the other one was an animation class. I slept through the history class most of the time. And the
I don't
animation
blame
class,
you.
yeah, the animation class I just sat there with my camera off.
Like, you know what it is for me? I think the reason why I have no motivation when it comes to like completing tasks, especially if they're academically based, is because I don't find completing those tasks to be rewarding ever. Like any task outside of one you do in a video game is simply not rewarding to me. The reward is that I don't have to do it anymore. So I'm like, I don't want to do any of this. And that's why I have no motivation.
Your brain really do be like video game, huh?
Yeah. Because
I
think
guess.
about it. If like in a video game, if you like complete the task, maybe you'll receive like an item reward, or like you'll get stronger as a result. Like the reward is tangible and you can see it. When I'm in college, it's like do the task or you fail. That's it. The reward is nothing. You get no reward. It's horrible.
I think our whole family needs to be tested for ADHD. I'm gonna be really honest with you,
Oh yeah,
Chief.
not to
Like,
mention when you sit me down. This is more online classes. I was fine with this when I was actually on campus, but like if I'm in an online class in my room at my computer, I'm gonna be doing anything but listening to you because other stimuli is more interesting. So it's like, why would I ever pay attention in class?
Yeah, that tracks. I guess for me, I never particularly
uh,
struggled with that exactly, just because like part of it is that your grade needs to be above a certain GPA in order to stay within the art program that I'm in. And while like my GPA is nowhere near like that level of getting kicked out, like that motivation of like that fear of failure motivation, and I guess like that fixation of getting like A's kind of always motivated me to do that. What's it called? All that GE stuff that I didn't care about. Like, obviously, like, I didn't nearly care about it as much as my other art classes, and I'll be, like, lazy if I can get away with it. But even then, I would still try to strive for, like, an A if I could. I'm like that person. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like that person where if I get like an A, like a B plus or an A minus, I'll be like frustrated.
bruh.
I'm sorry, it's the N03 coming out.
I know. I shut up. Enneagram is valid. Shut your face.
I have never said that it's not valid.
I know, but you're also like, shut up, Enneagram, and you're just mad because you're scalped. That's really why you're upset.
Yeah, that is basically what it is.
Like,
The mortifying ordeal of being known by a freaking personality test.
yep, it'd be like that. But yeah, I also had to, when I was in school, I had to keep my GPA above a certain level to keep my scholarship, which honestly, I don't really think was that much, like, I don't think they were actually giving me that much money in comparison to what I had to pay, but you know. Yeah, it was a pretty low number, so as long as you got, like, Bs, you would be fine, but I flexed for, like, the first 2 years of my education. I'm pretty sure I got, like, straight A's, but then I got tired, so yeet.
Yeet. How long were you in college, like overall, like community plus university or whatever?
I did not go to community college. I just went straight to art college for 4 years.
I should have gone
Bruh.
to freaking community college.
Honestly, part of me wishes that I'd gone to community college just to get my gen eds out of the way, because those are the classes that I did not try in because I just didn't care.
No, yeah, I got all of my GEs done, most of them done in community college, and that did add an extra 2 years to my college what's-its or whatever, but it allowed me to not have to worry about all of that once I got into, like, the freaking art camp stuff.
Yeah,
I hear, like, people, like, struggling to keep up with their math classes and stuff, and I'm just sitting here, like, going, "I haven't taken a math class in 4 years."
yeah, I had to take a math class to graduate, and I think it was either a math or a science or both. But I do remember taking a math class, and I was like, "This is freaking terrible. I hate it." Because it was also online, and that was before.
Oh, rip.
Like, it was before COVID because my school offers e-learning, so there are a lot of
Yeah,
classes that are just online.
I have to censor you saying that because you're
What?
going to get us demonetized.
E-learning?
No, the other one.
What did I say?
The Ovid K. You cannot say that word. You will get the video
Oh.
demonetized.
I'm sorry.
What?
It doesn't actually matter because I'm going to censor it anyway, so you actually can say it, but I figured I would point it out.
Really? They'll demonetize you if you say
It
COVID?
absolutely happened, yeah.
You should just add, like, a bleep, like,
Yeah, I'm
we
gonna
need to
go
figure out what our equivalent of a bleep is here.
I can just go download the censorship noise, like you can find it, but people
You
are
should
gonna
just-
be like, "What did they say?"
You can just put the word on the screen.
I don't. Okay, but here's the thing:
can.
the YouTube algorithm can detect text, which means I would have to
What?
like substitute.
Bruh.
It
That's
can.
wild.
It literally can.
That's so weird. I want to find like a weird censorship noise though, like one that
Yeah,
you
something like no, like a Pokemon cry. I've seen some people do that.
Ooh, that'd be really
I
funny.
love that.
Ooh, we could do the cricket tune noise.
It's too long. Pick a shorter one.
Oh, dang it.
You need like Bidoof's thing.
Oh yeah.
It's very short and sweet.
His voice is so funny.
Yeah, he's baby.
Yeah,
Anyway, you were
before
saying
the disease. It was before the disease that will not be named.
the beer bug.
And I think I was taking it over the summer because I didn't feel like taking it when I got back to like campus. But it was terrible. I hated it.
He said it was awful.
Yeah. It was bad. Would not recommend. Math bad.
What was the last? I think the last math class I took was statistics, which
Yikes.
is, gosh, I don't remember most of it, but I remember like for the majority of the class I was struggling a ton. But also this was during the time where I like snuck onto my phone onto Tumblr whenever I could. So like I don't know what else I was expecting by not paying attention.
Oh my gosh.
That oh gosh, community college me was just bad. I mean, even in my like art, in one of my art classes, I would go on my phone constantly. This is specifically in like my beginner 3D modeling class. Oh gosh, to my first 3D modeling teacher, I apologize. I was a terrible student. Freaking, but where's it going with this? Online stuff. Wait. Oh yeah, statistics. Freaking statistics is like such a weird thing. It's all like ratios and junk, but I guess like there's like all this. Gosh, I'm trying to remember stuff from legit 5 years ago. Like, don't ask me.
Don't
Don't at me. This is so long ago. But yeah, it was. Yeah, it was just something that I really struggled with for some reason. At one point or another, I finally managed to click how specifically statistics works and how to apply all the formulas. But man, that was again. There's a reason why I didn't go into STEM.
Yeah, I feel like statistics, I understood it conceptually, but whenever it came time to actually do the math, I got confused. Like when to apply which equations when and like actually doing the math. I honestly, like, not to be WebMDing myself up in here, but
There you
like
go.
consider shutting the frick up. Anyway. I'm pretty sure I have like the dyslexia with numbers thing because I've always been confused by like math in a way that doesn't really make sense, and like I have to double or triple check my math like when I do it, even the most like tiny like operations in my head. I have to like double triple check or else I'll make a mistake. And I'm pretty sure that's a thing for people who have the dyslexia with numbers thing.
Bro, if you have that, I definitely have that.
Yeah. I don't know why, but like actually doing the calculations for math has always been hard for me, and I can't really do it in my head. Like even when I count change when I'm like doing register stuff at work, I have to say the calculation that I'm doing out loud as I'm doing it, which I don't have to do with like anything else.
Like
So I'm
sometimes,
Interesting.
not to WebMD myself, which is funny because
okay.
just cloud you.
It's okay, you do it.
But like sometimes I wonder if I'm like minorly just regularly dyslexic because I work as a cashier right now, and sometimes with the little produce they have like these little 4-number codes, and you type it in to like make it charge you correctly for the produce. I have gotten this right maybe like a third of the time on the first try. It's insane. I cannot get these numbers right. It's horrible. But you know,
Yeah.
or
I
like
guess
the
I'm
change.
the and oh, sorry.
No, I was basically done. I remember another thing, so that was on me. But like, I'll look at the total, and if it's like 597, I'm like, are we sure it's not 579? Like, it's extremely difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Whenever they allowed us to use calculators, I tended to do better. But whenever I had to do math, like on paper in my head, it just did not work. Also, it took me like way longer to finish math tests than everybody else. But like, I knew the material, so I'm like, I don't understand.
Same, but I didn't know the material.
No, I mean, like, I think it was algebra. Like, I was really good at algebra, but the test would just take me a long time for some reason. It's like I knew the material. It's just I don't know. Like I started actually doing them backwards so that because he always put the tests like the questions that had the most points would be towards the back of the test. So I would just do the back of the test first, and then I would waste time on the front portion of the test because they weren't worth as many points. So it didn't matter if I got them wrong. But yeah, I started doing tests backwards because I'm like, I don't understand why it takes me so long to get to these questions at the back. But
Yo, if you're listening to this podcast in the future, whenever this goes up, and you design tests, and your tests are like question 8, part A, B, C, and D, and each one is dependent upon the answer to the last one, give me your kneecaps. Because that crap is the death of me. For real.
yeah, I hated that too because I'm like, if you get one part wrong, it's all wrong.
Yeah, I hate that. And they'll be like, oh, well, if you did the work right, but it was the wrong numbers, we'll give you partial credit. I'm like, well, what if it was neither? Then what? Like, come on.
Wow. Yeah. Oof. Or like, if you design tests and the answers have instead of being like a whole number, it's like 98.35 and you're like round to the nearest hundredth, you deserve death. I really am sorry.
Like, you have to round to 2 significant figures. Like, yeah, right after I'm done punching you in the face, I'll get right on that.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, at least if I know it's supposed to be a whole number, I'll know when I messed up. But if it's like a fraction of a number or whatever with the decimals, I'd have no idea of knowing whether I got this wrong or not.
Like, you know what? Just give me the multiple choice math questions because I had a 25% chance of being right there, which is honestly higher than if I do it myself. So
yeah. Or no, it's terrible though when you get the multiple choice ones and you do the calculations and it's none of
Yo,
like it's none of them.
I just picked the closest one. You're like, I got 6. The lowest answer is 25, so that's gotta be it.
I'll do questions like that, or I used to, and I would look at all the numbers and I'm like, this is not close to any of the numbers that are on this test. Oh no. It's bad. It's so bad.
Wait, do you have any more math classes that you're gonna need to take, Sid, or are you like done with math classes?
Okay, funny story about that. So the way my college works, because I am double majoring, and one of the majors is comp sci. comp sci requires you to take a calculus class. The reason why I am double majoring is because I said to my advisor, yo, if I take this class, I'll never pass it. So we need to figure something out. So I ended up dual majoring. Because if you dual major, they remove the calculus requirement if you're a comp sci student. So I'm like, look, I will dual major in anything. Anthropology, studying freaking marketing, feet, I don't care. Like, we need to figure something out.
So what are you double majoring in?
Business. I think it's business administration, but I can't remember exactly what it is.
I will use that for my own purposes.
You.
I just love the mental image of you walking into somebody's office and being like, "Hi, listen up, chief. We cannot take math. We do not take math."
I told him because I was like, oh, because you gotta talk to your advisor and figure out what classes you're taking next. And he's like, oh, I think the next one you need to be taking is like, I don't know, it was like Calculus 206. And I'm like, haha, no, buddy. Was basically my response to that. Because he's like, oh, you can take calculus. And I'm like, I cannot take calculus. And he's like, you'll do fine. I'm like, I will not. And we basically went back and forth until I told him, I was like, look, in high school, I scrambled to pass Algebra 2. I haven't even taken pre-calculus. You are not throwing me into a calculus class. I will not pass. I had to get it through this man's skull. It's happening.
Oh, no.
So, Jan, technically the answer to your question is no.
You went and cheesed the system.
Basically.
Oh my gosh. I think I ended up taking pre-calc in high school and I didn't understand a freaking thing. I was like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't get it. That was terrible.
I've up and forgotten literally everything from the last math class I took, so.
Like, y'all literally had me until algebra. Like, that's it.
I was fine until you added the letters.
That's fine until you added the alphabet.
Actually, I was not fine. What am I talking about?
Oh my gosh. Oof. Yeah.
Gosh, all these required classes, like, you take all these classes through college, and you go out of college, like, remembering maybe, like, 10% of it, and...
Did we lose her?
Did we lose? Oh, there you go. There you go.
Like,
where did she go? But what else? But... Great, now I lost my train of thought. I was talking about... Oh, yeah. I was trying to start my system... what's it called? The educational system rant. But, okay, hold on. I need to get my foothold again. But, like, all these different classes that they require you to take, be it, like, English or math or whatever, it's like... almost none of this is going to be useful to me once I graduate, because I already know what I want. And that's what makes, like, trade schools so much more, like, optimal, I guess? I mean, I obviously didn't go to a trade school. I went to, like, a regular university that has a pretty decent art program and all that jazz. But, like, it's like, oh, you have to take, like, a sciences, you have to take a English class, you have to take a math class. And it's like, well, I get, like, if you don't know what you want to do, I guess you can make people take these classes or something. But, like, none of this is useful for me. I mean, history, yes, I think history, we should all be taking, like, history or something. Because that stuff's important. But, like, why do I need to know statistics to be a cashier or some garbage? Like, dude.
Yeah, I feel like if it's not relevant to your major, you shouldn't have to take it.
Yeah.
Like, art history, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. But, like, calculus, why? Like, why? Like, when will I use this?
You said, I'm not going to use art history, but, like, I understand why you want me to take it.
I find art history very fascinating as a subject. I have been bored in every single class that I've taken for it, except for once.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I find art history to be very interesting as sleep material.
Bruh. My experience with art history is, like, on one hand, I actually really do enjoy the lectures. I hate all the freaking memorization. Hate it.
Yes.
Like,
speaking of memorization, I had an art history class in high school. It was senior year, where the last test, we had to memorize the names, artists, and mediums of, like, 50 different classical paintings. I wanted to kill that woman.
50?
I know, but I'm like, that's too much!
50 is too much.
50 is baby! I had to memorize, like, 120.
That's
like,
double too much.
we should not, as students, have to be memorizing the medium in which a painting was created. Why? For a test. Why?
I don't know. I
don't remember.
and like
It's usually
dates and
like
stuff,
artist,
no.
name of the piece, the date it was made, and possibly like the era. Like it was like
Wait, hold on one
Rococo
second.
or something.
But the medium, though, they didn't ask you if it was an oil painting or not, did they?
I don't think so.
Because they were asking us that. We had to know. Now, the good news is 90% of them were like oil on canvas. So I was like, okay, cool. But and the other good news was like, you ever notice that classical paintings are named very bluntly? So it's like you look at the picture like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is a scene from the Bible, and then the answer is going to be like the Bible. Like, you know, it's very
Yeah.
It's
It's only
Sorry, I
when you
heard
get, like,
Blackpink
those-
and I had to leave.
dude. Dude. Okay, wait. I was at work. I hate to derail this conversation about art history, but did you know that they are selling a BTS calendar? And there's like one guy on each month, and they have like a couple of like group ones. I actually, no joke, no cap,
Bruh.
I was looking for a Blackpink one because I'm like, I will send this to you as like a gag gift.
Dude,
Oh
that
my.
makes my heart so happy.
Wait, how did we get from art history to BTS? Where did that transition happen?
my roommates are watching a thing and I heard Let's Kill This Love and I was like, Blackpink? And I just like muted the thing and walked away.
Blackpink,
Bruh.
funky acoustics.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, sorry. I love Blackpink so much.
We've been new. But yes, the art history thing. Or like there was one where it was like St. Andrews on the cross or whatever, and I couldn't remember what it was called, but I'm like, I know this is a picture of St. Andrews on the cross, so I just wrote St. Andrews on the cross as the title and was right. I was like, let's go.
Also,
Gosh,
like,
what about like the ones that had like some weird French title or something?
Yeah, that's called losing the points.
my frustration with art history is that like I'll be sitting in the class and the professor will be like, oh, this thing about Christian belief, and I'll be like, well, actually that's Catholic, and then actually that's kind of hotly debated within the church today, and actually, and it's like it's just frustrating to like sit there.
Dude, same.
Your inner monologue is arguing with the professor.
Yes.
I took a Greek mythology class. I think it was technically last year's second semester. And like they would be like, oh, it's kind of like this, and this belief from the Bible. I'm like, funny you should mention that. You are wrong. Like it was, you know, or like I had someone ask me, and I'm like, okay, I don't care what you believe in. I think everybody should have like some base knowledge of the actual belief system of most major religions. Because I had someone ask me, they're like, oh, I bet you'd be really happy if like the Pope showed up or whatever. And I'm like, why would I be happy? And they're like, because you're a Christian, right? And I was like, I'm not a Catholic. And they're like, what is the difference? I'm like, oh my God.
I know. Oh gosh. Yeah. It do be like that. Or occasionally there'll be a painting about a more like obscure biblical story and the teacher will be like, oh, it's about this. I don't really know much about it. And I'll be like, well, actually. But yeah. So like it's either like really frustrating or like whatever. But yeah.
I've learned to like tone that all out because like my thing when I'm taking art history classes, like my pencil is making smoke. Because you have to like take notes on literally every single thing. Because whatever is being said, whether it be like on the at least I remember one of my classes, like even if it wasn't on these specific like slides or whatever, it would if it was said in the lecture and you missed it, there'd probably be a question on it somewhere on the freaking test. And then you'd end up like losing points on that one thing.
It's like it will be an essay question.
That is the worst teaching
multiple choice.
style. Just letting everybody know.
Yeah.
If you teach that way and you're listening to this, you should feel bad. I'm not even kidding.
You need to change the way you are teaching.
It's so serious. It's so bad.
It's like if I space it for 2 seconds, by like 5 points.
Literally.
Like then you're just like encourage. Like I feel like when you do that, you're encouraging people to memorize things and then not actually learn them. You know, because like you forget it. Like if it's focused on just memorizing, you just forget it as soon as the test is over. But I feel like if you actually learn stuff, like you not only do well on tests, but you actually remember it after you leave the class.
Right.
But
Felt that.
yeah. Also, like, I think the thing that also distracts me in art history classes is like they'll be like, oh, well, this means this, this, and that. Like the red shovel means death, and I'm like, well, how do you, like internally I'm like, well, how do you know that? Like, how do I know that people know that? You know, like why are we
How
taking
do
this
you
for
know?
granted? Who figured this out? You know, and then like I get questions like that, and then it just makes it hard for me to focus. Because I'm like, how do I know that means that? And you're not just extrapolating something that isn't there. I don't know.
They're making it deep.
Because like I know
Basically.
that like iconography was a huge thing, especially like in like medieval and like older TM art. But I'm like, how did you figure out what these symbols meant? Like, was there any sort of literature or like decoder? Like, how did y'all know? Like,
Can you imagine if we did that now for like furry art? Like,
Oh,
what do you think the meaning of these oversized paw pads is? Like, can you imagine?
like they worship the paw god.
I mean, they kind of do though.
Oh gosh, that the fact that like furry art will have to be a part of art history at some point is like terrifying to me.
Right.
Like,
Oh
what does
no!
this seventh floating
Is
dog
there like
mean?
a freaking like online media art? No. It. Oh,
There should be.
ugh.
There's a study of
should be.
memes already, so
Oh,
like as a like
it's
a
so much.
historical thing. So I mean, it's coming.
Okay. I'm very upset that somebody's going to be the first person to major in memology, and it's not going to be me. I'm so sad.
Yeah.
Well, if anything, it's probably just going to be like internet culture and history or something.
Like, can you imagine what the final exam would look like? You would like explain the origins of the term yeet. Like, can you imagine? That would be so fun. I would love that.
Or like explain what simp means. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
I got this,
Like,
buddy.
use the word simp in a sentence. Like, it'd be amazing.
Oh, would pass that with flying colors, man. Dang.
That would be amazing.
The
It'd be
Extreme
like,
Meme War of
or
2013.
like, it would ask questions like, "Oh, why is it that Musical.ly was not popular as an app, but TikTok is, even though they're exactly the same app?" Like, that'd be amazing. I would love to write papers and answer questions like that. It'd be awesome. And you don't even have to study. You just have to exist and be alive.
Yep. That would be pretty fun, honestly.
Because like, I also feel like with at least with the study of memes, you would also have to get into marketing a bit, because I think a lot of marketing type tactics are the reason why memes become memes, like why they become so popular. So I'm like, this is all very interesting. Why can't I do that instead? But I have to do freaking programming, of course. But, you know,
I agree. Fully agree.
that'd be great. Or like identify, like, or it'd be like a multiple choice question where it's like, which one of these memes isn't real? Like, that'd be great.
Which one of these memes is fake? I had to explain to my therapist what simp meant today, and
Oh
it was just
no!
really funny because I was talking to him about the TikTok, the worship songs of written by Gen Z TikTok, and I was trying to explain the like simp the Lord oh my soul, and he was like, I don't understand what that word means, and I'm like, I have to explain this.
I remember I learned the word simp in the dining hall of my campus, and it was hilarious because we were all chanting simp at one of my friends, and I joined in because I thought it was fun, but like I didn't know what it meant, so I had to ask one of the people at the table. I was like, "Yo, what does this mean?" And so he told me, but I thought it was really funny.
The really interesting thing though about the word simp is how it's like kind of transformed meaning, you know?
Yeah,
Like it
like
almost used to be like borderline derogatory, and now it's just like more of a funny, like ironic thing to say.
yeah,
It's so weird.
it's kind of like because in the beginning, the guy who explained it to me, he was like, a simp is somebody who foolishly overvalues the woman that they're trying to get. And I'm like, okay, I understand. Now people call themselves and each other simp the same way we call ourselves and each other weeaboos.
True.
Like
Yeah.
you can
That's a good
say
way of
it as an
explaining it.
insult, but most of the time it's not.
Yeah. It's so weird. That's what I told him when I was explaining. I was like, first it kind of started out as like kind of low key derogatory, and now it's like something that everyone like will call themselves and each other, and I'm like, okay, cool. Just be like that. But
Simp for the Lord, oh my soul.
I just literally every time I'm sad, I just rewatch that TikTok.
I do
It's so
like
funny.
people who are watching. I do be sending her TikToks though. I'm ashamed to say that I have a TikTok account.
I don't.
Had or
I
have?
just like, yeah. I was
It's
gonna
just like
get one, but
quick
I
little
didn't.
stabs of serotonin directly to the brain. That's what it is.
True. I
What's
wanted
that
to get
one
on like
post? It was
furry
like
TikTok, but oh, sorry.
like there's that one post where it says like I'm not ever getting a TikTok. It's just like if like something ever, if a good TikTok like happens, it'll find its way off the site onto another platform, and that's the quality control.
That's so true, though.
It is true. It is definitely true. It's like the TikToks that are good, that are just generally funny, they will permeate out of TikTok and directly onto Twitter. So like you don't need to go find those. But if there's one where it's like, haha, I'm scalping a particular community, you have to go looking for it. You got to dig through the trash and go find it.
Yeah.
I remember when you kept sending me like mentally ill TikToks, and you sent me one where it was like, if you get this TikTok, you need to go to therapy. And I was like,
Because
oh,
like
okay.
because like, you know, for all three of you who are listening to the podcast who don't use TikTok, it will suggest you TikToks based on traits basically that it thinks you have based on which TikToks that you like and or interact with. So I'm just kind of going and I get this darn TikTok. It's like, hey, if you see this, you need to go to therapy. So I sent it to Tangle and I was like, I got this. I need help was basically the joke there.
Yeah. Oof, that was really funny though.
Like you get oddly specific TikToks that make me low-key sus where it's like, haha, if you're in this situation, X, Y, and Z, and it's like exactly your situation. You're like, all right, slow down.
The
One
algorithm
of my
do
other
be
favorites was the
sniping
one you
you.
sent me. Oh, sorry. Are you sorry?
Nothing.
I was gonna just say the one that you sent me where it was like parents when they realize that food and a roof over your head don't cure depression. I like that one. That was so funny.
All the ones with
Yeah.
that particular audio are funny to me.
Yeah, like the Halo, like the Beyonce
Yeah,
song.
because like it's
That was
always
so
like the
funny.
caption is literally the same every time. It's like blank when they realize blank, a person collapsing in slow motion, and that song, and it's always funny. I don't know what it is.
The one thing that I'll definitely give to TikTok is that it's really easy to like edit stuff in, like audio or like effects or whatever.
Yeah,
So it's like you can be like semi high budget looking and still just use your basic phone. Like
yeah. I always. Oh, God.
the one thing I do enjoy a lot are like the different like I guess I would say it's like a furry edit or something. There's like this one specific channel that what is it? Cosplayers. Cosplayers actually do a pretty decent job on TikTok because like a lot of times they'll be like they'll have a voice line, sorry, a character line like in the background does the audio, and then they'll be acting out the scene or whatever, and it's actually pretty cool. I know there's a mutual of mine that does a lot of those like cosplay TikToks, and her mom does the cosplay TikToks too. She
That's
what's her
pure.
name? What is it? The aunt from Spider Verse? I'm blanking on her name. Aunt May. She'll actually like cosplay as Aunt May and like do the different lines and stuff, and I think that's like super wholesome.
Yo, not to
That is
derail
really
the TikTok conversation, but like if you are a cosplayer, I simp for you because that crap would be so difficult. And like I want to try it, but I refuse to do it until I have abs. So for now, I just watch other people do it. But,
Like
like
that.
I sent Tangle the other day. There's this person who was cosplaying KDA Akali, and I was like, you know how you see cosplayers and you're like, oh, that's cool, and then you see cosplayers where it's like that is the real actual character walking around in our world. That was like type 2. I was like, yo,
yes.
my mind is blown. It was crazy.
Like she is so pretty, no Romo, but like
Honestly,
good
I'm like,
lord.
do you ever see someone who's so pretty that you feel bad about yourself? Like, here's the thing.
No.
Here's the thing. I do not think that I am ugly, but sometimes you see people who are so pretty that you're like, I'm living a lie. Like, it's horrible. I hate it. Like, I looked at that cosplay, and at first, I was so excited for her because I'm like, that is amazing. I love that. And then right after I said it to Tangle, I just had this like crushing feeling of inadequacy. Like, yo,
Bro. It's
Man,
okay.
it's
We
like
go get you some abs.
for me, like all the stuff that I want to cosplay is like all this like super makeup-y type stuff or like super like costumey type stuff, like I don't know, xenomorph, monster thing or whatever. Like all the more feasible ones that I could be doing, I just don't bother with. I know the one cosplay that I want to do is I'm blanking on her name. I get her actor name and her actual name mixed up. Ellen Ripley, there we go. Ellen Ripley from the Alien franchise or whatever.
yeah.
Because I've had like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the hair or my jawline or something. But I've had like several people come up to me and say, "Hey, you look like Sigourney Weaver, or you look like that one specific chick from Alien." And I'm like, I'm not complaining about this because she is
Right.
gorgeous. So I'm just like,
Yee.
yes, yes, go on, honey, kind of thing. The thing is,
Sigourney
like,
Weaver do be getting it though.
the jumpsuit the jumpsuit that she wears in the first movie is absolutely, it's like what, like $200 to get. I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with that. So I don't remember what specific outfit she wears in the second movie. I saw Aliens like 2 weeks ago and it's pretty dang good. And that outfit's a lot more feasible. The only thing that I need is like some Nerf gun and put some like cardboard on it. The only thing is that I don't know if I'd be able to get away with like having the cat plushie with me because the cat's really only in the first movie as opposed to the second one. But it is an idea. I could, in theory, like just cosplay her normally. And the only thing I'd have to worry about is just like doing something with my hair. Because I have the capacity to have like Sigori hair or whatever. I just need like, what is it, that 80s semi afro look or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Like,
that is like my dream cosplay. Outside of that, it's just like thrift store stuff. Actually, okay, one more story. But so there's so you guys are familiar with the TF2 cast or whatever, right? And then
of
there's like
course, yes.
Vaguely. Sid had a
the
phase.
Shut the frick up.
I'm not surprised. And and then there's the medic, right? And the medic has a pigeon. And then
Right.
I have,
Archimedes.
I have my pigeon. And he's also got that same white coloring as Archimedes and all that. So what we did is that we went to a convention and I cosplayed as medic basically. Except instead of a giant gun thing, I had like a spray bottle because I didn't want to bother with construction and all that stuff. And it was so funny. And people didn't realize I was holding an actual bird until they got super close. So what I did is that I stood, because we didn't buy tickets, so we just hung out outside like a couple of bums or whatever. And so I would stand outside of the convention doors. That way when people walked by, they had to walk by super close. So when they walked by, they realized, oh shoot, that's a bird, and they would stop by and like pet him and all that. And
Oh, that's
oh my gosh,
amazing.
Sweeney is okay. Well, it's so funny. Sweeney is perfectly fine being in the spotlight. He's perfectly fine being pet by everyone. The absolute spoiled brat who's like staring at me from across the room. I see you. He's a brat. Oh my gosh. He loves the camera. He loves the attention. I swear, he can tell when you have a camera on him because he'll like pose. As soon as you whip out that phone, he's like posing. I'm like, oh my goodness, this bird has an ego like twice as big as him, and oh my gosh. But yeah, the that aside, like it was actually pretty cool to be able to make a cosplay that allowed me to integrate my pet in that kind of way. And then also like it was just also, it felt nice to have everyone like stop and be so like amazed that, oh my gosh, it's a bird. That's not a chicken, that's a dove, that's a pigeon. And then we were also able to pass out like little flyers for like a local pigeon rescue, which is also nice. What was so funny though is that we were taking the bus to go to head off to the convention center, and like three people, absolutely stoned as all heck, come in, and one of them goes, "Bird!" I'm like, "Yes, it's a bird, sweetie. Get
Oh
over it."
my goodness. Dealing with people who are high is honestly really funny to me. Like, if you're drunk, you might make me a little uncomfortable, but like people who are high make me laugh.
They irritate me because, like, I'm at the cash register and I'm trying to get you out of here as fast as possible. And I'm like, okay, is that your order, sir? And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh my.
I mean, when I'm not working. Like, I do
Yeah.
not sell anything to people who appear to be under the influence when I'm at work, but like when I'm not working, that crap is funny. Like a lot of people that I know from college, like they spend all of their time, like they are either high in class or they are high out of class. But like, I had no idea this one time that they were high, but I figured it out because one of these people who's like actually a friend of mine, he just came up to me and was like, "Yo, my actual name, I freaking love you, man. Come here." And he's giving me a hug, and I'm looking at the other guy who's with him, and I'm like, "Okay, what is he on?" He's like, "Weed." And I'm like, "Okay." The whole thing.
Weed makes you a touch main.
I guess.
One of my coworkers legit came to work high, and I'm just like,
Go
because I was
home.
like, she's acting a little funny. She's like, oh man, I'm like high out of my mind right now, and I'm like, oh, like I don't know how to respond to that.
I don't think like anyone could get away with coming to my work high. I've never seen it in like the 5 years of. Has it been 5 years? Oh my gosh, I've been stuck in retail hell for 5 years.
Dude, I've only been in retail hell
Here.
for like just over 2 months, and I'm about ready to be done.
Bruh.
Like, this is too much though, but like I work in crackhead
But money.
like,
But money. But
literally,
yeah.
that is the reason why I'm still there. I am like a hair's breadth away from finishing the PC that I have been spending all this money on. So I'm like, please, I just need this job for a couple more weeks.
But yeah, like yeah, with my work, I've never seen. I mean, to be fair, like I've never seen anyone come in and do like a night shift or something. I've never seen anyone come in high. I've never seen anyone come in drunk or anything. Every now and again, we get like an influx of high schoolers who are doing like seasonal work, and that's always interesting because then I have to put up with them getting distracted and not paying attention to when customers need help. I think the worst instance was when there was like 2 or 3, no, it was either no, 3 or 4 other registers being handled by high schoolers. And they're making a huge ruckus. Like they're having like it wasn't an argument, but they're just fooling around. And I have this one, I have this one lady in my lane and having to like turn to her and apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I can't control these freaking monkeys or whatever. But luckily, like the majority of the regular workers are either people who are, actually trying to get a decent like amount of money from working. So like college students like me. And then there's actually a surprising amount of like, I don't know if I'd say they're like older ladies. They're, most of them have kids. They don't necessarily need to work. I think the majority of the money that they're getting, like income wise, is mostly from like their husband or something, and they're mostly there to make a little bit extra cash, not be in the house the whole time. There's this one lady specifically who actually she's such a gossiper. Oh my goodness, she's always jibber jabbering, but she's also a delight to work with. She's so funny.
Okay,
She,
like old people though, they have two extremes. They're either like the nicest, most kindest people you've ever met, or they're totally demons. And I just like I
oh
can't
my
over
gosh.
it. Like I
Okay. There's this one specific lady that comes to our Target. She practically lives at our Target. Uh, the minute the store opens, she like rolls in with her little cart and starts walking around, talking to everyone. And I don't know how else to say this, but she's like conservative, but like conservative, where you know she's right all the time. You know, she will not let you interject at all. Like the conversation is just her talking, and it is. You learn to nod your head and say, yes, ma'am, and all of that other stuff, and just pretend to agree.
Oh,
And,
she's that kind of old.
yeah, she's that kind of old.
I literally I cannot. That's like on the demon side of the spectrum. Cannot stand
I was
that.
gonna say, yeah,
Hate
because
that.
you are
Yeah.
incapable of just nodding your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the only reason why I'm putting up with this is because I work here, and like literally every single person that works here has tried talking to this lady, and it's like, yeah, this isn't working.
I hate it. I hate it when you scalp me.
Dude,
You're right,
you are like one of the most headstrong people I know. I'm really not sure that you're capable of saying yes, ma'am, and nodding your head if you disagree with what someone is saying.
I can do it through gritted teeth. There are like older people that come to the restaurant or older people that I work with where I'll just be like, yes, ma'am. Because I just like I want to argue with you so bad, but I can't. It kills me inside every time.
Sometimes I just default to silence because like you can't have a conversation with someone because like normally I only do this if they're like pissed off at me, but like you can't have a conversation with someone who's not responding to you. So I just say nothing and they just stop eventually.
That yeah, or I default to the I'm sorry to hear that, even though I'm not sorry.
Okay, have you guys had an instance yet where you ask someone like, "Oh, how's your day?" Or "How are you doing?" And then they give you like this, like, "Oh, like obviously what they're going through is like, what was it? This lady goes, "Oh, I've had polio since I was like 10 or something," and like that you hear like this tragic backstory, and obviously like that's tragic and all that, but I'm sitting here going, how am I supposed to respond to that?
Yo,
Yeah,
when
no,
you
stop
work in
that.
retail, people just be volunteering you information that you did not ask for. And it's like, oh, okay. Like,
Okay.
I keep telling this story to my family, but I rang up this woman once, and she says to me, "Can you make sure the bags aren't too heavy? I've already had 2 heart attacks, and I don't want to have a third." Like, whoa. What?
That's a lot. That is a lot.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I was putting 1 item in each bag. Like, I can't be responsible for this woman's 3rd heart attack.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, I think probably the worst thing. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing, but just the most uncomfortable is like this couple is going through my lane or whatever, and I legit cannot repeat what they said to each other while I was ringing them up. I'm just like sitting here going, please don't flirt in front of me, please.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't need this.
Oh
That's when you interrupt
no.
them and just tell them they're total really loudly. I've done it before.
I'm gonna do that. Okay, no. Okay, this happened maybe like a year ago, and to this day, I'm still like, what about it? Okay, gosh, okay, I can say this because it's just specifying a genre or whatever. This lady is talking to the lady before her, and I'm like reading her up or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, here's my card, and I write stuff and all that." And I turn to her and go, "Oh, what do you write?" And she just looks
I
at me
see where
dead.
this is going.
She goes, "Oh, I write erotica." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh yeah,
No,
aren't you into that?" I'm like,
no.
"It's not my thing." What I really wanted to say is, do you ask random people if they're into erotica? Is that
Yeah,
really how you start every conversation? Because
I
that's
would
what I
have
wanted to
looked
say, but
her
I
up.
was too much in shock to say anything in response.
Yeah, that's oof. Like my biggest issues with that is like, okay, I keep having old men try to flirt with me, and they do so
Bruh.
very explicitly, and I'm like, can you don't like, yo,
Excuse me. You did not tell me about this.
because I had to get over it before I mentioned that it ever happened.
Whose behind do I have to beat? That is not
Bruh.
acceptable.
You have to track down these really old crusty men, and it's just ridiculous. Like,
Oh, that's
Like, I will
okay.
put
I
you
don't
in the
know what it
ground.
is, but like I keep hearing these horror stories of people getting hit on by old men, and I don't know. I don't know if it's like a blessing or something, but I've literally never had that happen to me. I don't know if it's like the resting bonch face or something, but I've literally like never had any old crusty dude come up to me like that. I've had maybe like one random bum looking dude like ask me out of nowhere, and then like I said no, and then I never saw his face again. So like I guess that was a thing. But like, what in the heck is? I don't know. I guess I have like the men be gone charm and effect or something.
Maybe
oh my
the
god,
men that you're in contact with just have more sense, TBH.
Wait, what?
like, huh?
I didn't hear what she said.
Oh, Tango Guide.
Tangle, come back.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, I've been hit on by, like, customers. Some of them have been older men. They typically aren't inappropriate, though. Like, it might be a little weird because it's like you're, like, twice my age.
Like, okay,
Like, eh.
the first guy was actually, I was actually very entertained by it because like he was like, oh, because we're all wearing masks right now at work. He was like, oh, can you take off your mask so I can see the face of the woman I'm going to marry? And I'm like, oh, that's very clever.
Bruh.
Even though you're old enough to be my grandfather, that's
Man
very.
shot his shot.
But he really did. The other guy, how do I like without repeating what he actually said? He was basically trying to get some of the badonkadonk, and I'm like, yo,
Bruh.
I need some help. And it was funny because like I wasn't at the register. I was waiting to swap onto the register, and the person who was currently on the register was like a lady who's old enough to be my mom, and she was very entertained. And I'm like, yo, I'm thinking to myself, don't be entertained, help me. Like, what are you
Help
doing?
me. Help me.
Like, I
Bro.
need that clip of like Kevin Hart being like, help me. Yeah, like, what are you laughing for? But,
Oh, that's not okay. I'm so sorry, Chief.
It really be like that. And I'm like, here's the thing. I look younger than I am, so like on some level, this is kind of weird because like I know you're old enough to be my grandfather. Like you
I have a lot
were
of
probably
tolerance.
alive on D-Day. Like you're a little too old for me.
I have like a lot of tolerance for the crap that customers say, but I feel like if someone did like said something explicitly sexual, I probably just would lose my job because you're just not getting away with it. You're just not. I'm
No,
sorry.
I think that like the sexual comments is like the part is what like okay, I have lost my temper. Like I think there was one time in my life where I lost my temper like so on the spot that I basically blacked out. Like I was that angry.
Yo,
It was no, I was in like high school or no, was it high school or middle school? It was one of the two. And this one kid, he made like some comments that I won't repeat or whatever. I blacked out, threw a pencil sharpener at him, like there's like this feeling that I lost control of my arm. I just like lost like it was like ominous. It was instinct. Like that was the sheer level of anger that I felt. I think that like if I had received like a comment of that nature, uh, I mean, well, it would depend because it feels like from like some like dude around like a shady corner. I probably wouldn't react anger with anger. I'd probably just run the other direction. But like if it's like someone that like I feel is like at like the same like I guess level, like it feels like a classmate or some other garbage, I would probably just completely lose it right there and then. It's like, yeah, my price scanner is going into your skull.
that's not where I'm putting it. But
Me either.
I will find an orifice to shove it into.
It's gosh, it's so bad. Like it's so funny that like I can think like instinctually like, okay, if I had to defend myself, the price scanner would hurt the most. Like a freaking baton.
I'm gonna pick up like the receipt printer and just start swinging.
And smack that bunch. Oof. Yeah.
You know, it's like once I got over like the initial pride of like, oh, this man thinks I'm attractive. I'm like, yo, who's thinking to myself, who the heck do you think that you are? That you can just walk up in the store and say that to me.
Honestly.
Wait,
Like,
Tangle. Wait. Wasn't there like this one dude at that was going through your drive-through that like was trying to act all like what was it? I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but it was like he was trying to act quote unquote like black or something.
yes. Yes. Okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell this story, and you might have to censor me a little bit, but
Okay. I mean,
there
I'll
was a
censor
guy
something.
who- What?
I said if something needs to be censored, I will censor it. So you don't necessarily have to pull your punches while storytelling, so I can do it in post.
Okay, so he pulls up to the drive-thru. I take his order, and I was like, "Okay, like, may I have a name for your order?" And he goes like, "Oh, you can put in whatever you want." So I just put in like some random thing or whatever. And he pulls up to the register, and he's like, "What did he say?" He was like, "Oh wait, no." He asked me to call him Daddy, and I put it in there because the person at the register has to call the name. And my friend was at the register, and I wanted to see if she would do it, and she didn't do it.
Oh, I would have done it. Come on. That would have been so freaking funny.
She's like, "Oh, do you want your receipt, sir?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he pulled away, and she's like, "This man asked me to call him daddy, and he's like half my size, sir. I'm gonna call you son." And I was like, "Bruh." But it was, oh my gosh. Like, and apparently one of my coworkers knew this guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he said that he asked you to call him whatever you want, and you put in daddy." And I was like, "That did not happen. That is just not what happened."
Yeah, that is not how the story goes.
And I was like, "No." And I'm like, I'm pretty sure, like, because my one coworker who I was talking to who knew him is like a senior in high school. So like, this is like some like 17-year-old kid. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing? But
go finish your To Kill a Mockingbird Chapter 6 analysis. Stop talking to me.
Yeah. Flirt with them books.
Right? Oh god! It gave me freaking flashbacks. Oh no.
No, it's so weird. Like I work with a couple high schoolers, And like I'm not good at guessing people's ages, so I often don't know until they tell me. But like some of them will be like, "Oh yeah, I'm in high school." I'm like, "You are a child," but it's so weird because they just be doing really like crazy crap, and I'm like, "You are not even an adult yet. You need to slow down. Like, just stop." But yeah,
Oh, jeez.
it's wild.
He's like, you are a child.
Yeah, I'm like, "You're a baby. What are you doing? Like, running the drive-through? Like, you're a child."
Yeah. I'm the person where like I'm used to assuming that people are actually older than they look because that's how it is for me and my family. Like like I'm 24, but I'll still get like actually no, I think it's been maybe 2 years since I've gotten the last, are you in high school question. So I think I've proceeded past that stage now. But I'll like assume someone's like in college and they go, "Oh no, I'm in high school," and so I've gradually been able to detect baby in high schoolers. But even then, it's still like, oh wait, shoot, this person's actually younger than I thought.
Yeah, a lot of my managers are actually like younger than me, only by like maybe 1 or 2 years. But I'm like, it's still kind of weird, buddy. Like one of them just turned 20 this year, and I'm like, what the frick? But
That is really, yeah. Gosh, speaking of like weird age junk, like, so this is me back when I was doing karate. I think this was like 2 years ago. It's been a while since I've done it, but I was at this point I had taken karate for a decent amount of time that I was actually able to give some advice and some mentoring to some of the more newbie folks that are kind of getting into it. And essentially, like I'm like talking to this guy, I'm like giving him advice or whatever, and we're just kind of going back and forth, back and forth. And I think it was like very end of the conversation, I didn't realize that this guy was like 10 years older than me. I'm like being like super blunt and like going off on this 30, basically 30-year-old dude, and I'm after going like, oh shoot, sorry, sir. Like, it's just so weird when you have like when seniority is less determined by age and more determined by skill. It's such a weird thing.
yeah, it is kind of weird. I also like, I feel like I assumed that a lot of them were older than me just because they were managers and I wasn't. And it was like, oh no, I'm older than a lot of people here. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of interesting when seniority is kind of more about like skill than age. But yeah. But yeah. How we doing on time? Okay, we hit about an hour.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I hear you now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, oof, working in retail be like retail/food service be like.
It's like
I
oh god.
I can't wait to get out of here. I've been doing retail for, I mean, I can't really count this year because I'm on LOA literally the whole year. Like I didn't even go back during winter break, just so I could focus on school and junk for my last final like thesis year and all that. But man, I've been in retail since not my first year of college, my second year of college. I want to say it's been probably like almost 5-ish years, something like that. And I'm just like, I am ready to leave and do something else. I think I spent one summer, I managed to snatch a job as a counselor for a kids camp. And like that was night and day. Even though I had longer hours and it was like a 2-hour commute there and back to the workplace, I still enjoyed it so much more than I enjoyed retail. The days went by faster. I actually enjoyed talking to my coworkers. I could actually talk to my coworkers because we weren't up to the brim with customers. We got food. The food was terrible for the most part, but we got food. Actually, no, we actually got like decent like dinner, like takeout on Fridays, which was actually pretty nice. But overall, it was just a much more pleasant experience. Like I realized, okay, I have to get out of retail at some point because these other anything that retail would be better than this.
My thing is like people just maybe it's like just where I work, but people just treat you so freaking poorly. Like, you know what? I deserve better than this.
True.
You do, queen.
And it's like I have found one person who works here whose company I enjoy, and I'm just clinging to them like a lifeline. It's like I would have been out of here. I'm tired of these people cussing me out for stuff I have no control over.
Yeah, I'm basically.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
I was gonna say I okay. So I work at like a really big like store chain or whatever. So we are busy like 24/7. I do not have time to talk to anyone.
You
I
already
think
said
there's, like-
what it was earlier. Do you want me to censor that out?
The what?
You
What?
already said what store chain you work at earlier in the podcast. Do you
did?
want me to yeah, do you want me to
Oh,
censor that
I
out?
forgot. I didn't realize that.
I can censor it out later. It doesn't matter.
I don't really care.
Okay.
Yeah, I work at God's Chicken Restaurant, so like customers tend to be a little nicer, but occasionally you get like one or two people that are like really just mean for no reason. And you're just like, why? Why are you like this?
Or like people who are insistent about coupons.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
I have this lady who shops in my store, and I think she's gaming the system. Like, I'll never, this woman will never hear this podcast, so I'm okay with telling the story. But like, she always she gets like a bunch of cat food. So I'll bring up a bunch of cat food, and then she'll ask me to put like some amount of money on a gift card. So I put an amount of money on a gift card. Then she gives me like 15 coupons. And by the time I get through the coupons, she's only paying like $1 for everything. So I'm like, you just got $35 on a gift card basically for free. I'm like, I think this woman just figured out the system.
Honestly,
Bruh.
like queen. Not gonna lie.
I don't even know if she's allowed to do that. So I'm like, 'cause I've been allowing her to do it, but I don't know if it's like allowed.
It comes a certain point where you just can't like argue against the customer. You just have to like just let things happen.
Basically.
Honestly, yeah. Yep.
Like, I didn't become suspicious of her until she did it 3 times in one day, and I was like, I might need to think about this a little bit.
My question is, does she even have cats?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. And my thing is, like, there are people out there who like do eat cat food and dog food themselves. So I'm like, I don't know if you even have a cat.
I don't. Why would she?
Is it safe for people to eat?
So here's the thing. There's generally not ingredients, at least in like wet dog food and cat food, there are generally not ingredients that would like make you sick. The thing is, dog food and cat food is not held up to FDA standards the same way human food is. So like no guarantees, basically.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Especially if it's like, was it? It wasn't a blue buffalo, the one that like got sued at one point
Yeah.
because a bunch of dogs like got sick and died.
Beneful also got sued because they kept like there was some study that was like, oh, we can't help but notice that all the dogs that are eating Beneful are having liver failure.
Which honestly makes me sad because
geez.
we fed our dog Beneful.
And he died of liver failure.
Bruh.
Aw.
So, you know.
But like, that sucks. Like
When the imposter is sus. I'm a little bit sus of Beneful right now.
that feel when the imposter is sus. Once was sus, but now I'm found.
Bruh.
It's like we were all imposters, but we can become the crewmates in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Stop.
No. But yeah, speaking of people trying to game the system, like their God's Chicken Restaurant has an app and you can get points based on how much you spend. And people be pulling up being like, oh, can you do this and this and that? I actually had to learn how the app worked because I didn't have the app before I started working there. So people would just pull up and be like, oh, can you do this, this, and that? And I had no idea how this crap worked. So I was just figuring it out on the fly. But I'm just like, especially the older customers, bless their hearts, that come to the that come through the drive-thru and they're like, I have a reward for my free God's chicken sandwich. How do I do it? And I'm like, okay, you gotta go here, and then you gotta go here, and then yada yada yada. But it's kind of funny, not gonna lie. But or there'll be people who'll be like, oh, I have this reward for this thing, and it like expired like a month ago, and I'm like, I don't really know how to break it to you, but you can't use this. Like,
I had people do that. And I'm like, but I have the coupon. And I'm like, but it says expires on 3 weeks ago. So
Cope.
And if I scan an expired coupon, it just says this coupon is expired and doesn't take it. So I'm not sure what you want me to do. I can pretend.
Yeah.
Sometimes, okay. I will admit to doing this on a podcast, but never in my actual store. If you scan a coupon, it won't tell you whether or not the items that you already scanned apply to that discount until the person has already paid. So what'll happen is you scan all the items and all the coupons or whatever, and then they get their receipt, but before it prints the receipt, it'll print a smaller thing that says, "Oh, these coupons didn't work," and I'm like, "Ha ha ha, trash can." Anyway, here's your receipt.
No.
Because I don't want to go through, because I'm afraid that if I tell them, hey, these 2 receipts are like, I'm afraid if I tell them these 2 coupons didn't work, they'll like get into it with me, and I just don't feel like doing it. So I'm like, you know what? I think it's better that they believe that they worked. So I'll just take the receipt and just leave.
Gosh, I've only had God's chicken sandwich like twice. There was like the deli styled one with the sauce, and that one was actually pretty decent. Like I would actually get that again. And then my friend was like hyping me up for trying out because I had never tried like the more classic like crispy fried chicken that every fast food place has. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I get the supreme whatever chicken sandwich thing." So I grab it on the what's it called, like DoorDash or something. So not only am I paying money for the sandwich, which is like $12 for some reason, and now I'm paying an extra, I don't know what else because of the DoorDash service. I'm going, this sandwich better be good because you're hyping me up for this a lot, and I'm having to pay extra money to get this sent to me. And so I try it, and I'm like,
I
yeah,
hate
I mean, it's okay. Because, like, on one hand, it's up to par with Burger King chicken sandwich, and Burger King is like basically the best chicken sandwich that I've had.
But
And
the chicken
Chick-fil-A,
fries, though.
the Chick-fil-A, I don't, chicken fries are okay. There's like barely any food. That's the thing. But
They're so good. They're the only thing I order.
with Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A is like the same quality as Burger King chicken sandwich. So it is still technically one of the best fast food chicken sandwiches I've had. But I can get one at Burger King for like $5. So why on earth would I spend that much money at Chick-fil-A?
But they're nuggets, though.
Compels you.
I have not tried their nuggets still, but
The nuggets
I
are
still
so
prefer
good. Like, you know how,
sandwich.
like, if you get like a McDonald's chicken nugget, a Burger King chicken nugget, or like a Wendy's chicken nugget, it's like, it's kind of like it's a very finely ground chicken type meat that's like breaded. But with Chick-fil-A, it's like literal nuggets of chicken, and they taste so good. It's the only thing I would ever order from there, because I
haven't had the nuggets actually. I mean, I've had the minis, which is basically just the nuggets with the biscuit on it.
Like, with the exception of their like peppermint shake, I don't really like their milkshakes. I do like their fries, but I just like fries. Like, if you like fries, you like all fries. And then I'm not generally a fan of their sandwiches, but them chicken nuggets, they be hitting a little bit different.
Yeah, I let her try some of it with ranch because I just drench everything I get in ranch, including the fries. And yeah, you liked it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was banging.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think probably the best place to get fries for me, at least, is what's it called? Is Wingstop, because when you get like the meal thing or whatever, it's like half wings and then this giant freaking tray of fries. And they're not like super crispy, like hard fries, like In-N-Out's fries. I do not like In-N-Out's fries at all. Like the sauce and the cheese and all that, like that's good. But the fries themselves, I hate the texture. They're bland on their own. Don't care for them. But the what's it called? The Wingstop fries are very soft, very tender, and they give you like a giant, like not only a bunch of fries, but also a giant thing of ranch.
Like, are they steak? Are they like steak fries? Like, are they the thick ones that you're supposed to put in ketchup?
No, not those ones. Steak fries are pretty decent too. They're just big, long, soft fries. They're good.
Okay,
They're very good.
because I'm very passionate about food, and I organize all of my fries. Before I even rank fries, I organize them into the type of fry, because like you got steak fries, you got fries where you can eat them with ketchup, but you don't have to, and then you got fries where it's like they are designed not to be eaten with ketchup. Like McDonald's fries, you can eat them with ketchup or without ketchup. It doesn't really matter. It kind of comes down to preference. All steak fries, which like Burger King fries are included as steak fries because they're very thick and they're made that way. You got to eat them with ketchup. So you have to rank them based on how they taste with ketchup. And then you got like a Checkers or a Rally's fry is designed not to be eaten with ketchup. So if you add ketchup, it kind of detracts from the experience. And then you have Wendy's fries, which are just horrible.
Well, what about like the Carl's Jr. fries? Like they're like the waffle fries.
Waffle fries, I think those like I've never had specifically Carl's Jr.'s fries, but if it is a waffle fry, I think it comes down to preference whether or not you put ketchup on it, but it will probably be better with ketchup. They tend to be a little bit dry.
I find that I like them because they tend to be pretty crispy.
They are crispy.
What about curly fries? Arby's curly fries.
Arby's curly fries, I think those, if it was a spectrum, I would say they lean more towards you don't need ketchup to eat them.
Yeah. because they're
Like
pretty
if
heavily
the fry is seasoned, you probably don't need ketchup.
seasoned. See,
But
the thing is,
like,
I'm kind of okay with ketchup. I definitely more often than not prefer using ranch over ketchup for fries.
okay, I'm ketchup
Same.
generally speaking, but any condiment generally you could
Mm.
Like I made a tier list of best places to get mozzarella sticks. Like I'd be taking my food seriously. I wonder if I can go back and find that image. I want to see if I can find it.
Yeah, I remember you ranked like mozzarella sticks one time.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Oh,
I gotta
okay,
go
sorry.
back and find
I
it.
misheard that. I know, speaking of food though, there are a lot of people who come to the restaurant and like try to get free food, and it's kind of annoying, not gonna lie. Like they'll be like, "Oh, my fries weren't the right temperature," or "Y'all forgot to give me this thing," and it's like, "No, we didn't." But okay, no, we didn't. Heart, like no.
I found the mozzarella sticks tier list, so I
Oh
dropped it in
my!
there.
You have to put this like this
I
visual.
will.
The heck is Wawa?
What
What
the?
is that?
Excuse me?
Wawa? Like a baby crying? What is that?
No,
No, it's it's
no.
like basically Pennsylvania exclusive. They're
I think
horrible though.
Gotcha.
You're not
they're
like
they're in
their
Florida,
mozzarella
though,
sticks
too.
are horrible. You are not missing anything by not having their mozzarella sticks. The rest of their food is good.
It's like a what is it, like northeast-ish thing?
I think
Because I
like
know
you'll
they
find
have
a couple in Delaware and like a couple in New Jersey, but they're mostly eastern Pennsylvania.
okay.
Gotcha. If there's
Wawa
one
good.
Western chain that has really good fries, to kind of go back to that one, is Five Guys. Five Guys, what they'll do is that they'll give, well, first of all, it's in a giant bag. So that's already a plus. It's a giant bag of fries, for crying out loud. And
Yeah.
then what you can do is that you can actually get it with Cajun seasoning. And you can either, I think they give you this is how they do it. They give you like the little container of the Cajun seasoning. You put it into the bag, you close the bag and shake it that way.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
after that, you basically just rip open the bag and eat all the fries there, and then it's pretty banging.
Like the more feral I get to behave while eating my fries, the better the fries are going to be.
Yeah.
I'm actually like reading the tier text on these, and I'm laughing a lot. Like the top one says, "Would army crawl over broken glass?"
Because they're
Oh my
so
God.
good. Like the
Amazing.
worst
Oh,
thing
yeah,
about
really
movie
good.
theaters being closed right now is that I can't get those mozzarella sticks. There was a point where I was going to movies not to see the movie, but to get the mozzarella sticks. So breaks my heart that I can't have those right now.
TGI Fridays. Imagine liking TGI Fridays. Ugh.
They're kind of bland, but their mozzarella sticks are good.
I
I
remember
didn't know they
liking their
had
potato
those.
skins at least.
What did you say, Jan?
I said I remember I liked their potato skins.
Yeah. They have
Oh,
good stuff. It's just like a lot of their entrees are a little bit bland.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Their food is like okay. Like it's
Yeah. It's food, basically. It's
also, I
food.
didn't know IHOP had mozzarella sticks.
Okay, here's the thing about IHOP mozzarella sticks, because now I have to do the lecture. They're called like IHOP Monster Mozza sticks, and like they have a great size. The crust is amazing, like they crisp it very well, and the mouthfeel is incredible. And it's like the mozzarella, it's stringy, but it's not so stringy you'll choke on it. It's amazing. But the biggest drawback is that they never fully cook them. I have never had a mozzarella stick from IHOP that was like hot all the way through the stick. And I'm like, that really kills it for me. Like if the top of the stick is like piping hot and the bottom is like string cheese because that's how cold it is, we have a problem. And also, I have to say, this tier list is taking the mozzarella sticks by themselves without any kind of condiment, because the marinara sauce that you get with each of these restaurants changes the entire flavor, and they're not all the same. So it matters, but I left it out so that I could have like a control group. This is all very important.
Yeah, you
I
really
see.
thought about this.
I did.
Oof. Yeah. I don't know if I knew that Wawa had mozzarella sticks. or
It's
not.
like, you know where they keep the sizzlies? Like in that little thing that like keeps food warm?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sometimes they have it and sometimes they don't, but they're horrible. And also their marinara sauce that they sell is horrible.
Oh, we're about an hour and a half. I think that should
Should
be
we
fine.
cut it?
I like where this conversation is going, but yeah, maybe we should cut it.
All right.
We can definitely talk more about mozzarella sticks.
Or just food
Yeah,
in general.
we
Like
need to
I
make,
could
like-
literally run my own podcast, just food all day.
No, like we need to construct like we need to spend like one episode just constructing our own like different tier list.
Honestly.
Like
But
one of
we-
us streams it or something, because you can have like tier list builders and junk.
Yeah.
Sid, did you ever get to
Okay, I was
making-
going to say, this is actually a really great segue into what I was about to say in my outro, which was that if you enjoy the tier list that will definitely have been on screen during this podcast, Tangle and I, quite a while back, we filmed and recorded a video of us ranking fanfiction tropes and putting them on a tier list. And that video will probably actually still not be out by the time this podcast is done.
Wow.
It is out.
When did you guys record that?
That was like months ago, like
That was
late
last
last
year.
year.
How did I never hear about this?
It's because we did it for a YouTube video for our channels, and I didn't finish it.
Rip.
And I
Yeah,
will, because I was waiting because Tangle didn't have talk sprites. So I couldn't finish the video until she did. And because she only recently got them for this podcast, now I can go back and make that happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
But yeah. So I guess we're done for today. If you enjoyed
The
this
next
podcast
should just be food. We should just
I
do
mean,
that.
don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Don't get me all excited and then pick something else next week. Okay.
No, dude, it's fine. We should just do food.
All right, awesome. If you enjoyed this podcast, we have a coffee, right?
Yes.
Do you have anything else?
Follow our Twitter, Insta.
Yeah, I'm gonna put all the links in the description. If YouTube cards work, then like if the link is YouTube card compatible, I'll drop it in there. If you want all of us to be able to stop working at retail stores, we have a coffee, and you should put money in it so that we don't have to do retail stuff anymore.
Please do.
All of our social media, all the people who are present today, all our social media is going to be in the description, as well as the Thornforge social media. So go wild, hit the dab on the follow buttons for all those. Yeah, that's about all I got. Anything you guys want to add before we wrap it up here?
No. I guess just hit that mother hecking subscribe button. Yep. Let us know if there are certain topics that you want to see us talk about, because we run out pretty much every week.
Oh yeah, also, if you disagree with something that we said, leave a comment. And if you agree, also leave a comment, because I will totally engage with that in the following podcast episode. So yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah, that'd be fun to have a podcast where we respond to comments. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Respond to hate episode.
I honestly would.
Citron's opinions on mozzarella sticks are wrong. No, you're wrong. I'm never wrong about food.
Oh gosh.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. We gotta hop off. Love you guys.
Bye.
Mwah.
Thank you.